Listener discretion is advised.
A groupie is defined as 1, a fan of a rock group who usually follows the group around on concert tours, or 2, an admirer of a celebrity who attends as many of their public appearances as possible. It can also be used to mean a selfie photograph with a group of people. So instead of just one's self, when you take a group selfie, it's called a groupie.
I hate that.
I do too. I'm never using
that out
it,
in the wild.
No. A groupie is often defined as a woman who may be seeking emotional or romantic / sexual attention from a musician or celebrity. Therefore, it's frequently used in a derogatory context because fucking patriarchy. The term is also used to describe fans of sports and admirers of public figures in other high-profile professions. We'll get to it.
Okay.
And since we do love our random recent web examples from Merriam-Webster, here was the good one. Pamela DeBar's breathlessly lewd memoir of her years as a groupie should come with a cover-up when taken to the beach.
Love that. I would absolutely buy a beach book that came with a cover-up.
Oh,
yeah.
That is some good marketing.
I know. So take note, Pamela. We'll also come back to Pamela. Here's a quote from a 2015 New Yorker article. The word groupie, once a pejorative, implying at its worst a kind of mindless, sycophantic allegiance to famous men, has since been reclaimed by the women it was intended to shame, although it remains unclear whether those women ever actually resisted the characterization in the first place. Pamela DeBar called her a 1987 memoir called I'm With the Band, Confessions of a Groupie. By the way, she wrote several books, but this one was definitely like her most popular, so I think I'm going to get it as a beach read for when I go to Key West in a couple weeks. And she writes frequently of fandom as an essentially symbiotic relationship in which intimacy and inspiration are exchanged freely, peaceably, like a joint being passed around at a party.
Oh, I love that.
If assuming that the parameters are such that it's not like inherently exploitative, and we will get to it, but assuming those parameters are safe, it could be it is a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next line is, sex, of course, is not a parasitic transaction by default, and superannuated tropes about women needing to be coerced via nefarious forces into a kind of stunted submission are neither useful nor true. If in 1969 an adult woman wanted to bed rock stars like it was her job, fine, get it, girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Wikipedia says the word groupie originated around 1965 to describe teenage girls or young women who sought to initiate sexual liaisons with rock musicians. The phenomenon was much older. Mary McCarthy had earlier described it in her novel The Company She Keeps, which came out in 1942.
Well,
it's also just not like a novel concept. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Humans are attracted to celebrity, and sex can be used as like a currency or a way to get attention.
Yes.
Obviously. Some sources have attributed the coining of the word to the Rolling Stones bassist Bill Wyman during
Bill Hoban
during the group's 1965 Australian tour, but Wyman said, nay, he and his bandmates used other code words for the women on tour.
Oh,
Yeah.
great. Okay.
Maybe
Thanks for clearing that up.
it was a code word,
Yeah.
but it has since been decoded.
Yeah. It's a very popular, widely recognized term.
But like maybe at the very beginning, sure.
Yeah. So the term was popularized in the late 60s with somewhat salacious articles from Rolling Stone magazine and Time magazine about groupies and sex. A book called Groupie and a documentary called Groupies were also released in 1969 and 1970. So the term by this point was definitely ingrained in pop culture. So there is a distinction between fans who just wanted a brief sexual encounter with a rock star and a groupie. A groupie, in contrast, is someone who traveled with the band for long periods of time, acting as a surrogate girlfriend, often taking care of the musician's wardrobe and social life. And these women were
Gross.
sometimes called road wives.
They took care of their wardrobe?
That's sounding a little bit more like Almost Famous.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think that's gross.
Yeah.
They just liked to do it.
Or it's just deeply misogynist and was like, you're the woman, you know how to iron.
No, I don't think it was that. I think it was like assembling outfits.
Oh, like styling.
Like styling. Like the women actually, in a lot of times, had like some creative control over the band, the aesthetics.
Okay. All right. I thought
it wasn't like laundry.
Not that like one is more important than the other as a career, but I thought it was like, hey, while you're here, you can be my seamstress.
Right.
Seamstress for the band.
I mean, well, maybe being a seamstress was someone's passion. I don't know.
Right.
And it probably was both, and it could have been both. But from the things that I read, it was more like they actually played a contributing role to
Creative role
in
some of the decisions.
the styles. And we'll actually come back to that because I have some photographic evidence of that very thing.
Okay.
Cool.
So, fun fact, not all groupies were female. According to one source, there was at least one male groupie who was named Pleather, who followed around the band The Bangles, the 80s like girl
Fun.
band, and also Courtney Love.
Fun.
So, Pleather sounds fun.
Yeah.
There were quite a few groupies who were themselves kind of famous. One example is Barbara Cope, nicknamed the Butter Queen because she allegedly used Land O'Lakes butter as lubricant in sexual encounters with rock stars from fucking Jimi Hendrix to Mick Jagger to Robert Plant to David Cassidy.
Yum.
Partridge Family, David Cassidy.
So she like had used butter as a lubricant or like
She
used it.
Mm-hmm. She
It-
would
on the
bring
reg.
butter with her,
God bless.
like a pound
Hey.
of unsalted in her bag.
Hey.
I mean, you'd feel like if you were in a rush, margarine.
An oil-based,
Yeah, it would be oil
dairy-free.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that doesn't have quite enough pizzazz.
Right.
Flavor.
Doesn't margarine Barbara doesn't sound as good as
You're right.
butter queen
Not as
or butter
quippy.
Barbara.
Marge.
Marge.
Marge Barb.
Large Marge.
Oh my God.
She was a Marge Barb.
God bless her.
So she was really, really famous, like among all of these famous rock stars, and she has a bunch of mentions in famous rock songs,
Oh.
and has said that she has slept with about 2,000 musicians
Good for her.
when she was interviewed by Oprah.
Quite a catalog.
Wow.
Yes.
A lexicon.
What I was when she started as Barbara Butter Queen, was she
Barbara
of
Bush.
age? Was she an adult?
I think so.
Okay.
I didn't see anything that was
Saying
weird
otherwise.
about, yeah.
Okay.
Tragically, Barbara died in 2018 at the age of 67 in a house fire.
Oh my God.
So young.
Yeah. So another famous group of groupies was the all-female band and performance art group called the GTOs, which stood for Girls Together Outrageously, but it also kind of stood for Girls Together, a lot of other words that start with O, including orally,
Oh.
Boo.
whatever. So they were based in LA, and they were especially active on the Sunset Strip scene. They had one album, which was produced by Frank Zappa, called Permanent Damage. And actually, they all kind of met through Frank Zappa. Like one of them was his child's nanny, the child named Moon Unit.
Oh.
Cool.
So like they all just kind of,
Hung out.
yeah. So clearly they were rock stars and artists themselves, but they had a lot of kind of groupie characteristics. One member of the band was Pamela DeBar,
Oh.
which we brought up several times, who was introduced to Frank Zappa through her cousin, whose stage name was Captain Beefheart.
Love.
Oh yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, so that's her cousin. So she was introduced to Frank Zappa while she was still in high school. She was subsequently introduced to members of the Rolling Stones and became really fucking psyched about the LA music scene. When she graduated from high school in 1966, she took various jobs that would allow her to live near the Sunset Strip and take part in the rock music scene. She famously went on to form friendships with many of the great musical artists of that era and became romantically linked with various notable creatives. This is a fucking catalog, such as Mick Jagger, Jimmy Page, Keith Moon, Nick St. Nicholas, Noel Redding, Jim Morrison, Chris Hillman, Graham Parsons, Waylon Jennings, Brandon DeWilde, Michael Richards, Woody Allen, and Don Johnson. I don't know who some of those people are, but I know enough to the context clues.
Yeah.
She lived a life. So she's the one that wrote the book called I'm with the Band.
Cool.
That should come with the cover up and that I'm definitely ordering. Okay.
I'm just surprised Woody Allen was romantically linked with an adult woman.
I know, right? Well, she was fresh out of high school.
Oof.
There are also groupies for other professional fields, such as space exploration.
Oh,
No.
are there?
Yeah.
What are
NASA
astronaut groupies called?
Yeah.
Blastronauts?
Blastron. I don't know. Space cases? I have no idea.
Oh, that could work.
Maybe. There's not a name for them collectively, I think. But during the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo space programs, women would hang out around the hotels of Clear Lake and Cocoa Beach collecting astronauts.
Yeah.
Okay, this happens like during the Olympics too. Obviously, the athletes all sleep with each other, but there are Olympian groupies as well.
Yeah.
And there's like
try to like collect
famous
as many as they can.
collect medals. There's like
Oh my God.
there's like famous condom booths like every Olympics.
Oh my God. Well, also, you know that really bad but like really good movie called The Banger Sisters with Goldie Hawn and someone else?
Yes.
And so they were like aged groupies, and then they get back together. They were like formerly best friends, and they had that box of just dick pics.
Oh.
And they just went through them. They're like, Mick Jagger, like, you know, a whole box of
quite the coffee
Polaroids
table
of
book.
famous
Polaroids.
dicks.
Oh my God. Yes.
I
Okay,
gotta
well,
rewatch The Banger Sisters.
I need to watch it for the first time, apparently.
I know,
good.
Goldie. I'll do
So-
anything for Goldie.
Joan Russa, wife of Apollo 14 command module pilot Stu Russa, recalled, quote, "I was at a party one night in Houston. A woman standing behind me who had no idea who I was said, 'I've slept with every astronaut who's been to the moon.' And I said, 'Pardon me, but I don't think so.'"
Well, let's hope she was right.
Yeah, let's hope she was right. Hockey players.
Joni.
No, Joni. I just think that's funny. Space exploration groupies. That'd be what I'd be into.
It totally would.
I don't even like music.
Don't like
Hockey players have groupies too. The Canadians call them puck bunnies.
Oh.
It's defined as a young female hockey fan, especially one motivated more by a desire to meet the players than by an interest in hockey.
Yeah.
Sociological
puck buddies.
I
Yeah.
know. I thought so too.
Okay.
Sociological studies of the phenomenon in minor league hockey indicate that self-proclaimed puck bunnies are, quote, proud as punch to have sex with the players.
Proud as puck.
As it confers social status on them.
I mean,
Wow.
name any
Canada's a weird place.
public facing, you know,
Yeah.
whatever, and they're
Yeah.
going to be people who are into that. People who are legitimately turned on by that fact.
By guys with missing teeth.
Ugh, and mullets.
To each their own.
And like really stinky, sweaty clothes.
Ugh,
Yeah.
the gym
They're
bags.
gym bags. Ugh. One more. Buckle bunnies are a well-known part of the world of rodeo.
Oh no.
Wow.
The term comes from a slang term for women, the bunnies, and the prize belt buckles awarded to the winners in a rodeo, which are highly sought by the bunnies. So they literally try to like collect
Collect the
the
buckles.
Gotta find
would
my
be
old
expensive.
stud Leroy.
You know, to have to replace your belt buckle after every rodeo.
Yeah, don't give it out at every rodeo.
No.
Yeah, don't bring your best.
According to one report, bunnies, quote, usually do not expect anything more than sex from the rodeo participants and vice versa.
Well, thank
There are
goodness, because I
also-
don't think the rodeo folks are making that much money.
No, probably not. There was also another article that was talking about these buckle bunnies, and it was like, it said something about like how there's so much like toxic masculinity, like machismo in rodeo, especially that like sex is the only form of like nurturing that these guys will accept. So that's like,
Interesting.
Oh, like the only like physical contact they have with not a bull.
yeah.
Huh.
So there are also more generic terms like jersey puller, jersey tugger, jersey chaser. I got called a jersey chaser.
What?
Why? Because you go to your sister's hockey games back in the day?
No, when I was in college, I went to the only bar that I could get into before I was of age was this really fucking gross one where all the basketball players went to. And it had really low ceilings and all the basketball players were really tall. And I just like to grind with tall guys. I don't know.
Do you think they went there intentionally to feel even taller?
Probably. Or they were all underage just like I was.
Yeah.
Or that?
They were just tall 19-year-olds.
Tall 19-year-olds. There's like black lights, strobe lights.
Yeah.
Really tall dudes.
I miss a
good
good
time.
club with low ceilings.
It smelled so bad in there.
That's college.
Anyway, that's my segment. That's all I have to say about groupies.
Yeah. Deeply problematic term and concept. Although if everybody is adult and consenting and has agency,
Go
you
for
do
it.
you.
Like that article said, fuck get it, girl. Whatever. You do
Right?
you.
Well, I sure hope you liked that clip. If you did like that clip, make sure you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, leaving us a nice review, and joining us on Patreon for even more video content, audio content, salacious content all around. Come join us. Treat yourself.